I said this before and I will continue to say it, but if the Duffer Brothers, if the writers of Stranger Things weren't such cowards, they could have heavily focused on the triangle situationship that Will, Eleven, and Mike were in. Let me explain. So obviously everything is surrounding Mike, right? Well, Will, but like Mike. Let me talk about Mike really quickly. Really interesting. Season one, Will disappeared, right? So his focus was on not only finding him, but it was also split in between trying to get to know this new person, which is he's in awe of this new person because obviously she has powers, right? He is very much, attached to this person now because not only is she helping him find his best friend, but now he knows, like, oh my gosh, this girl is quite really not grossed out by me, which is actually referenced by Lucas directly towards Mike in, I believe, episode 3 or something like that, 3 or 4. Moving into season 2, Mike is still struggling to juggle between how he feels about both people. Of course, his primary focus is on Will in regards to his possession. We see how much he cares for his friend, but of course, he is constantly thinking about Eleven on the back of his mind. In season 3, we see Mike Willer struggle with the balance of hanging out with his girlfriend and then, of course, hanging out with his friends. And we see how all of his friends are reacting in regards to this case. The rain scene was chef's kiss, beautifully done, because not only is Will being able to clock Mike in regards to him not being a good friend, but also we know that Will Byers is jealous in that moment. So, of course, they lash out and we get to see Mike literally pretty much this entire season tried to deal with, once again, trying to get back with Elle after she breaks up with him, because once again, he has issues in regards to being honest with her. This is where the whole situation of honesty kind of starts between the both of them, which is actually in season 3. But back to like literally the rain scene itself and why it was just so beautifully done is because obviously we even got to see Mike Willer struggle with that guilt and shame of obviously knowing that he wasn't putting much effort in regards to his friendship and his relationship with Will. But also we get to see how far out he was willing to go to apologize to Will, which unfortunately he was not willing to do in regards to Elle. He was willing to give 11 space and pretty much bitch and complain about her breaking up with him, but he did not want to give Will the space to even breathe in regards to feeling frustrated about his actions and his behavior. He wanted to apologize to Will. He wanted to make sure that Will felt like he was sorry. And obviously Mike and Will actually don't even really resolve that entire issue. We just jump into Will and 11, going with Joyce, to California, and like obviously there's an entire ordeal there because they weren't able to have like a conversation, which then leads into season 4. In season 4, we see all 3 of these characters struggling with something internally, right, and externally in regards to the bullying that Will and 11 were experiencing, including Mike, but also in regards to their entire relationship and friendship. We see several scenes, and they're like actually a focal point in season 4 in regards to 11 feeling isolated, not feeling like herself, very insecure, not feeling like Mike can love her. Will feeling very isolated in regards to his friendship, feels like he's once again being third-wheeled, just like he was in season 3. And Mike once again trying to figure out a balance of being honest with his girlfriend, being a lot more brave in regards to his girlfriend, and honestly treating his friend, his best friend, right. And once again, we see how much that dynamic is actually different in regards to Mike and 11 and how they dealt with their argument, which is unfortunately that didn't go anywhere because they both kind of stepped into that a little defensive, or more so I guess Mike. I said it before, I think Mike was a little bit more open at first, and then when 11 was kind of like, well, you see me as a monster, it just flipped the script, unfortunately. So now they're both defensive and they're not going anywhere. They're not being honest with each other. But in regards to Mike and Will and how they make up and resolve their issues, like they're actually willing to sit down. Mike is actively apologizing and like pointing out like what he did wrong. He's listening to Will. Like he's like, I want to be partners again. I want to like do this together, So obviously completely different dynamics. One of which he's not able to like make up with his girlfriend heart to heart there, but he's able to do so with Will in regards to his friendship dynamic with him. And instead of us being able to see the situationship at least resolve itself in season 5, what we get instead is nothing's actually resolved. Volume 1, we kind of start off with the fact that obviously we can see that Mike and Will are closer than ever. Obviously we can see that Mike and Eleven are trying to deal with their relationship, or at least having hope of the future in regards to the relationship. And then we hit volume 2 and we hit volume 3, and there's nothing really done in regards to that. Mike and Eleven are still fighting. Unfortunately, they are still like not being honest with each other in regards to their entire dynamic and relationship. And then obviously they end with not even being able to be together and resolve their issues, and Eleven unfortunately has to sacrifice herself. With Mike and Will in volume 2 and volume 3, they don't really even get anywhere. There's nowhere, like they don't go anywhere. The whole conversation in volume 1 about like the snowball to avalanche, that's not even referenced really through volume 2 and volume 3. So it's like things that we saw kind of be put together, little clues and context clues that we saw from volume 1, we don't see anymore in volume 2, because Mike is not only now hesitant in regards to showing concern for Will, at least physically hesitant of touching him, but also hesitant of actually showing support, especially after like the coming out scene, which is addressed in volume 3, but I feel like that was such a shitty way of addressing it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I should have been there for you. Okay, I hope we can still be friends. No, best friends. That's all they gave us. So it's like, this is the issue. This is what I think is the actual issue in regards to the entire writing situation. Duffer Brothers love the thought of a complex character, which is why Mike, Will, and Eleven were so complex. However, they don't know how to resolve a complex character. They don't know how to build on to a complex character, which is why in season 5, pretty much all the characters don't really get anywhere, because they hit a wall in regards to how to resolve their individual character arcs, so on and so forth. Not only do we see within these characters character arcs, right, of like it not really going anywhere and us not seeing any actual change or resolution, but we also see it within like their within these dynamics and pairs. We saw it within Eleven and Hopper, the way that they were pretty much going back 10 steps after they dealt with their situation from previous seasons. We see that with literally Mike and Will, of which you think that something's going to happen in regards to at least their friendship still staying strong, and that doesn't really go anywhere. We see that with Mike and Eleven in regards to them not actually being able to have that conversation or be fragile with each other. It was just like clockwork. Like they'll write these complex characters, or like they have the surface level like thought of these characters being complex, but they're not able to actually follow through with that, which I think is like one of the huge issues in regards to season 5 of Stranger Things altogether. These characters, we grew up on these characters being complex and having these complex character arcs and these complex dynamics, but we don't actually see that follow through in season 5, which is why people are so disappointed.